Hey, this is Dirk Nowitzki, and you listen to the Mavs Step Back podcast.
I like this, TK. I like that. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk get the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly, yeah, get tragic. Look with the ball, yeah, get nasty. He'll drop 30, don't gotta ask him.
Luka with the step back three. Oh, yeah! Porzingis three-pointer, yes, sir. Taking the three after the pump fake, and it's money for Porzingis.
Now you got my boy Chris Stabs, looking like Dirk and Nash in the gap. They just wanna ring, wanna fill the gap on your team head. I ain't talking heads, dang, go relax, still at the champ. Defense still coming with the cannabis flow. The man's the best on the flow. I'm wild, but yeah, I'm the GOAT. This game get cold. Yeah, you might need a coach, your friends turn into your foe.
All right, guys, welcome into another episode of the Mavs Step Back podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host in Dallas basketball and SI colleague, Matt Galatson. And tonight, we have a very special guest, Mavs big man, Willie Cauley-Stein. Willie, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How are y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. Look, hey, we're super excited to have you on tonight. Glad you were able to do it. And, to get started here, just wanted to ask you about your time with the Mavs so far. And, it was cut short a little bit because of the pandemic and, circumstances out of y'all's control. But it ended on a really high note for the Mavs before the season was suspended, and for you personally, because, you had a really good game against Denver right before things got shut down. So how did that feel to have that type of game right before it ended, and just, your time with the Mavs overall this past season?
Oh, man, it is what it was, but it was frustrating. Only because, I had just, I felt like I was just starting to get in the groove, playing with the Mavs, period, from the trade. So just finding and scratching for time, period, and then finally, starting to get their trust and being able to make plays and, help the team win. I feel like I was just getting in the groove of something, and for that pandemic to happen and for everything to shut down, it was just – it was heartbreaking for me, just because the season was so big. Just a lot of stakes riding on it for me as far as going up in my career and crossing that line into helping teams win in playoff situations.
Yeah. It really messed things up because, as I don't know if most people know, but I know we know, you recently had a daughter, and, you had all that planned out for the off season, and then for this to come up and the restart to happen, during when it did happen later on in July, that kind of puts you in a tough spot. But, family's first on that kind of stuff. So it was very understandable you weren't able to make it to the bubble, even though, I'm sure you wanted to be with your basketball brothers and everything and finish out that season. But what was that like for you? Because obviously, if it were me, if I were in your shoes, I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have missed the birth of my son or daughter for that. But what was that experience like for you?
Man, it was just a lot of unknowns, and that's kind of why we just went with the safe decision of just staying the whole time. We teeter-tottered into, maybe staying for the birth, and then a couple weeks after to get, settled in a little bit. But in between that, we also moved houses. So that didn't help the situation of leaving, my wife with a newborn baby and moving houses and setting up cable and all that other stuff that comes with moving into a new house. So there's just a lot of unknown for us, and so we just went with a safe one. If the fact that it was my first child is the reason why it was kind of I should probably stay for the first couple months. I can't miss the first 2 months of my daughter's life. That's crazy. But as I was going through it, I'm looking at my wife, and I'm sitting there we're watching the games and everything, and I'm like, if this happens again, I think I'll go. And she was like, what? And I'm like, I think I could do 2 weeks and then go. Like I think I could have done the just I don't know. It was just that fact that I never had a kid before, so I don't know how that unknown of not knowing is, it was scary. So we just went the safe route.
Yeah, I mean that's totally understandable. Being in that situation, obviously you're keeping pretty close tabs on the games and on the series with the Clippers, and I think it was a lot closer than most people thought it would be, and the Mavs definitely outperformed their expectations. What was it like for you watching them, and what were your feelings on the series?
It was fun to watch just because that was the first time in my career being on a team that's in the playoffs. So even though I didn't play in it, I got to still be part of that atmosphere, the team text and the rah-rah on the team group chats, and like being a part of that, and watching them perform and really getting to watch as a fan perspective and not as a player. It was it was really cool to really see how everything unfolds, and it was fun. It was I think that next year, if they have the same core and everybody's healthy, man, it's gonna be another great season, honestly.
Right. And look, as far as that Clippers series went, just personally, given what you had brought to the table for the Mavs earlier in this season, I mean, do you think that you could have potentially been the piece that swung that series in a different direction? Because I know it only went 6, but, I mean, that series was a lot closer than what people think, because KP, he only played 2.5 games. He probably should have played the entire game 1, and the Mavs should have won that one. But we know how all that went. And, I don't know. I feel like if you had been there and if, Jalen Brunson hadn't injured his shoulder and a couple other things, I feel like the Mavs really could have won that series. But what do you think? Do you think, you being there would have changed anything?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would have definitely gave us, more depth, and a little more, grit on the defensive side and like just hustle plays, period. It's hard to say though, what I'm saying, just because it's hypothetically, it's a hypothetical. Who knows if I even get the time to play? If I got minutes in there, of course I'm gonna be a factor in the game if I got the right minutes and everything like that. But it's all a game plan. It's all, for what I did for this team. Play sparingly, 10 to 14 minutes, but it was just straight. I'm going in there to try to get my numbers real quick, and so like that's how it's had to be for me. I don't know if it'd be different if I had like consistent, minutes with Luka and Tim. I didn't even really get to play with Luka that much. I think I played with him one game because he got hurt when I first started playing. So it was just, I never really had a steady run with the guy. So it's hard, but I would like to believe that personally.
Well, I mean, just branching off of that, you showed flashes in, limited opportunities for the Mavs this season, and we've been keeping up with you on social media, and it looks like that you've been working on a lot of stuff. I mean, what exactly have you been trying to add to your game this offseason to where you can help the Mavs even further going into next season?
I just got to tap into, when I first got traded here, I really got to tap into shooting threes, corner threes, trailing threes, and then like pick and pop situations. So, I mean, I've been working on it for a long time. So it's kind of cool that now it just gets to slide in like a puzzle, and like I get to really get, the team's confidence in my shooting ability, not just myself. And like it's a whole different ball game when the team thinks that when you shoot it's gonna go in, and the coaches is all for it. Like when it's like that, I mean it's just a different. I mean it's a different feeling. It's night and day compared to how I came up into coming into the league to, like, you know, having Coach Carlisle, that, you know, wasn't natural to me, like the ability to run and jump, like that stuff's, you know, a given. But like now I get to work at a craft and like learn the game of basketball on a different level, and it's just, you know, made me fall in love with the work of the game and, like, you know, just doing different skills as a big man like that. You know, it's rare. So it made me even like love it even more of just being in the gym. And so this last like 3-4 months has just been like a total just like, okay, this is it. This is how you get good. This is how you get to a next level in the league. And you know, it's like an unconscious like I don't know, like me realizing that consciously as I'm doing it. It's just like cool to see, especially, you know, we're recording it all, like go back the next or that night and you're watching your workout and you're like, damn, I'm actually really like getting better. Like I watched a video from 2 months ago and I'm like, holy shit, like I'm handling the ball now. Like it's really bouncing, it's really moving. Like, and my shot is, you know, I'm not thinking about it anymore. And that's how you know you're really on to something, when you're just doing it unconscious.
Oh man, that would be really cool if you could add that to your game consistently and you know, and add that dynamic to the offense, because it, you know, when a big man can do that kind of thing, it always really, you know, makes things difficult on opposing defenses and all that stuff. So, but like, so we all love your skill set before you can do that. You know, the running, the jumping, the rebounding, the defensive grit, and you know that's what kind of helped you. You know, that's what gave you your coming into the league was, you know, your abilities in those areas. Was there any player that you modeled your game after growing up that you tried to take things from, tried to emulate it all, that you know, you looked up to or anything like that?
Nah. The guys that I like try to craft my game after, like when I'm working on my game, like it's a different dynamic. Like, you know, what I think I am and what I know I am is different than what I'm having to play. Like I'm playing the center role, but I've never been a center in my mental or my body style. So like it's a different, like I feel like I'm working out a role instead of playing the game of basketball. And it's a difficult task because, you know, some of the stuff that I do naturally, it counters what, as a big man, you're supposed to do. So, like, I'm really having to recraft my game around what the center role's changing into. And I want to change with that and not be one of those guys. And this is the only thing we want you for. Like, I want to be able to, like, play the game of basketball. I don't want to have to go into the baseline and wait for somebody to not want to shoot it this time down the floor. Like, I want to be into the mix, too, where I'm coming off, handing it off, picking and popping and, you know, shot faking and driving and throwing to him for a screen. Like, I'm still doing the same things, but I'm being involved. And, like, I feel like coming into it's like you get that name where, oh, well, this is what we want you to do because we think you're really good at it. But it's like you didn't even see, or you don't even care to know the things that I do naturally that I'm really good at, too. And it's like, there's got to be a perfect mix between that. And that's how you get like a beast of a player. So when you can mix all of that together, like, I don't know, I think a lot of people feel like because I'm working only on this, that I only want to do that. Like, I only want to shoot threes. And I only want like, I still want to block shots and rebound and run rim to rim and dunk it and do all the other things. I just want to add all this so that all that comes together instead of like, oh, well, we know when we come into the game, the scouting report saying Willie Cauley-Stein is not going to shoot it. So, yeah, it's going to be an easy game to guard what we're doing because he's going to be 7 feet off of me. And it's like going into that game, everybody's like, why don't you shoot it? It's like, well, because I was told not to shoot it.
Right.
I was told to go hand it off over here. I was told to go over here and sit in the corner and wait. And it's like, so the game is different in the sense of like, damn, I don't even feel like I could just go out there and hoop. It's like I got to go out there and make sure that I'm doing these little things so I can get time to get to hoop. And that's where I've been at this season. And it's been like a humbling experience, you know what I'm saying? So it's like helped me grow up as a veteran and as a player in the league, and it's been a great time, honestly.
Well, I mean, your shot. I mean, in my opinion, you've always seemed to have a good-looking shot. And like you said, there's a lot of guys that they get slapped with the center label, and they don't get to shoot, even if they do have the ability. There's just not that trust factor there. But like I said, I mean, you've been putting in the work. You've made it apparent on your all of your social media stuff that that's one of the things you've been working on, and hopefully, going forward, you'll get the opportunity to showcase, your full skill set, so you can help to the best of your abilities. But Willie, look, we've appreciated you coming on here. I'm going to hit you with 3 quick questions from our listeners because we told them you were coming on, and they were super excited about it. And we sifted through all the questions and picked the best 3. So here's the first one, and it's what everybody's wanting to know. And you may not can even answer it fully, but obviously you have a player option coming up. And, even if you don't, take that player option, that doesn't necessarily mean that your time in Dallas is over, so there could still, be something worked out there. I know the player option deadlines are coming up here pretty soon. Have you had a chance to think about any of that? Do you have a way you're leaning on it? I mean, what's your thoughts there?
I haven't really got a chance to even discuss it with my agents, just because the unknown of when the season's going to start and even when free agency even is. And so there's all these things that's happening that nobody knows when they're happening. And it's just so I feel like free agency is on a standby anyway. So everything that's going along with it is too. So there's really no information that we've gotten that, would make me want to not leave here. So, you know what I'm saying? I if it helps you, I bought a house here in Dallas, if that helps.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah, if that helps you, I bought a house here in Dallas, so I'm here. I'm chilling. I'm in the D. It's gravy right now. It's Gucci. So as far as right now, we're here in Dallas, and we're still working. We're going to be going back to the facility this next week to start working out and everything like that. So we're here, man. We're here for now.
Well, that's good to know. And I mean, not to speak on behalf of the Mavs themselves, but I do get the feeling that, they want you back for next year too. So we'll see how it goes. That question was from our listener, Caden. Now this next one's from our guy, Michael. He says, how is playing for the Mavs any different from, some of your previous stops, or more recently, your stop with the Golden State Warriors?
Well, it's California and Texas, so that's the biggest difference for me, is just the living, you know what I'm saying? At a professional level, both of these teams are super high class professional way they're ran from top to bottom. So it was an easy fit to go from one to the other. As far as team standards and the way they carry themselves, I don't know if the court is, at a high level, championship level. So, I mean, I'd say the difference is just living in the Bay to living in, Texas being big and everything's bigger in Texas to, in the Bay, everything's scrunched together and piled on top of each other. But
let me ask
similar.
Let me ask you this real quick. So let's go back even a step further. Let's go to your time in Sacramento. Now, obviously, I mean, it's 2 completely different franchises, different locations and everything. And the Kings, they're now under new management and all that. But, can you tell a difference between, the front offices of those 2 teams, the Mavs and the Kings?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, they know what direction they want to go into, to where when I was with the Kings, it was all up and down. I don't know what, the direction to get to the playoffs. That's about the only consistency of the direction of what we're going to go to. But in the 4 years I was there, I ended up me and Costa Kufas ended up being the last two players that was on the team, prior to 4 years before that. So it's like, as far as direction of where they want to go, it was just, I don't know. But as from here, like going to Golden State and coming here is like, okay, they know. But shoot, to me, it just felt like, they didn't really, know what they wanted.
Matt,
as far as every the last two spots know what they want.
Matt,
what's up, Dalton?
My connection there, it towards the end of it, it kind of went out on me. But I sent you that last question if you want to ask him, just in case mine keeps acting up. I'll edit that out.
I don't have it, but
well, here, hey, I'm on here now, so we'll get the audio going. Hold on, Willie, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, last one. This is from our guy Reginald. He says, do you believe that this Mavs team needs an enforcer, so to speak, like to protect guys like Luka and KP, kind of like what we saw from Luka in the playoffs when he had those run-ins with Marcus Morris? Do you think the Mavs need that type of enforcer? Do you consider?
That's how we're gonna lose them, huh?
No, I'll carry it over. So basically, one of the things we're wondering, obviously, Luka had a lot of problems. Not problems, but he had all those conflicts with Marcus Morris during the series, and there's been a lot of talk that the Mavs need an enforcer. Do you think they need that role, and do you think you fit that role?
I mean, I think that I was in that role going into that. Like, I think they brought me in there as a backup big that can come off the bench and handle business and be a goonie. Did they need? I mean, I feel like everybody has that. It's just, do you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, shit, if that's what I'm here for, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the shit. So I'll do that. Like, and I think that's why, that's why I could have been in that role. Like, I definitely would have been in the mix if I was out there. But shit, I mean, as far as what they don't necessarily need it. I think they got goonies. It's just, did they come out? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was behind the TV wondering the same thing y'all are wondering. So.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, it's a tough thing because in the playoffs, it feels like it's a whole different game and things can get a little chippier. So, next season when they're in the playoffs, you'll be right there with them, and you'll be able to back Luka up on those situations.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's a situation where we're trying to really, really win a game, and our best players can't be getting thrown out on some BS. And that's what all that tactics was for anyways, was to frustrate them, to get them out of their game. So, somebody else being there to play with the antics, would help it out.
Look, Willie, like I said, we really appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. And, it's been great. We wish you nothing but the best going forward. And, hopefully we'll see some big things, with you and Luka and KP, the rest of the guys going into next season. But we really appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Willie. Appreciate it, man.
I represent on the behalf of 707 and the step back. I rep Dallas too. You gon' catch a vibe. Shout out all my people. Take a step back, reminiscing about the old days when I hooped outside with my friends and drunk that OJ. Crossover doing step backs in a pair of J's. These days I'm about my chips like a bag of Lays. I ain't lying when I tell you people ain't the same. How you real when you say your soul for the fame? Do anything for $1. I'ma stay patient cause I know God promised me a lot of. Looked up to Dirk and MJ instead of blue collar. Excited at the idea of being a true baller. Riding in the Benz, a copper Impala. Feeling like I made it, now they tryna holler. This how we thinking life's supposed to